Guys, in today's video you're going to notice a couple of edits. The video was originally shot back at the end of December down in Hohenau, and I became aware that the video in the form in which I shot it would not have complied with YouTube's terms of service for 2026. So I was forced to edit it. So you will see 2 or 3 different changes in my appearance here from the edit. And you will notice that I will be reading off of, for the first time in any of my videos, I'll be reading off of a piece of paper. I never use a script, so I always just fly by wire, but this time I'm forced to do so in order to comply with the rules. So anyway, one good thing is I found another video that I had not released. I shot at the same time on the same thumb drive, so I finally got around to editing this video, and the other video, I'm going to post it here. So anyway, hope you enjoy the video. Hi, I'm Mike. I'm an American who's been living here in Paraguay for the last 15 years, and I make videos about Paraguay and my life here. And today I'm coming to you from the beautiful Hotel Papillon in Bella Vista near Hohenau in the southern part of Paraguay. And it's Christmas week, so we're down here on vacation, basically taking a few days off and just relaxing and enjoying the hotel. We love it here. And today I'd like to talk a little bit about Paraguay's immigration policies, not the procedure but the policy, and address the idea that it's somehow racist. I've had people contact me and indicate that they feel that that due to their country of origin they are somehow discriminated against. And I wanted to address that. And, this gets into the residency application, not procedures, but policies. But speaking of residency, if you are thinking of coming to Paraguay and you need help getting your residency, check out my webpage, paraguaymike.com. My wife is a lawyer, and she has been providing those services for over 10 years now. Now, I'd like to begin to address this idea by simply stating that Paraguay pursues an immigration policy which is beneficial to itself. It's beneficial to the nation and to the people here. It's a common sense policy, and unlike other nations around the world that have given up on common sense in the interests of, liberalism or wokeism or whatever you want to call it, Paraguay pursues a common sense policy. So basically, that means that they favor applicants for residency here that they believe will contribute to the country and that will be able to integrate relatively easily and will not be a detriment to the country, and that's a key. So the desire is to not change in any way, or any way detrimental anyways, the culture here or life here or society. So because of this, basically the most desired candidates, applicants, are from countries which share certain cultural values with Paraguay. And so, for example, all of the, and this is reflected too in the need for visa. Basically, most countries throughout Europe, North America, South America can enter Paraguay to one degree or another visa-free. That, like I said, most, not all, but most. And, this is due to the fact, for example, in South America, all the South American neighbors share a certain common history and certain common cultural values with Paraguay. They're all having been at one time indigenous nations and then having been conquered by Spain and been ruled by Spain for hundreds of years. They share common language. They share common religion, basically all Catholic, or majority Catholic. And so it's very easy, or much easier, for and people coming from other South American nations to integrate here. It's not a big cultural shock that's going to take place. And the same goes with the European nations. I mean, people coming from Europe, the Spanish influence, obviously, European influence, right? So, the religious, and even though there aren't linguistic ties, there are certain, cultural similarities. The ideas based on religion of how to treat people in society, how to treat women, especially, and how to behave in socially responsible way, are generally European traits that are shared with Paraguay, and that goes for North America too, Canada, United States, anyway, and Mexico, yeah, but I'm getting distracted here because there's people walking by all the time. We're right in front of the pool, so but anyway, I want to contrast this with other parts of the world, because this is how Paraguay differentiates as well. There are certain countries which are called sensitive countries by the Paraguayan government, and these countries are designated sensitive for mainly two reasons: lack of visa reciprocity and national security. And these sensitive countries comprise almost the entirety of Africa, almost the entirety of Asia, and so basically in Asia, with the exceptions of South Korea, Japan, Taiwan, and Singapore, I believe everyone else in Asia is basically considered a sensitive country. And this means that they require a visa, and generally in order to obtain the visa, they need a letter of invitation from someone who is legally here in Paraguay. But it's a much more difficult process for those people. Paraguay utilizes empirical data to assess migration risk. Essentially, they prioritize applicants from regions that have a proven track record of seamless integration into the local fabric. When a region lacks that historical data or shows a high rate of social friction in other host nations, Paraguay opts for a more cautious, restrictive vetting process to protect its own internal stability. I support the Paraguayan immigration policy wholeheartedly, because the nation's first responsibility is to protect its own citizens, its own culture, and doesn't really owe anyone coming here is applying for residency here in Paraguay. Paraguay isn't asking you to come here. You've decided you want to come here, and it's up to Paraguay whether or not they're going to let you in or not. And so, there are tragic instances that are happening now in Europe where people that don't share the cultural values, don't share any linguistic or religious ties, have arrived by the millions, which has led to significant social friction. In many cases, this has resulted in the formation of parallel societies that don't fully integrate, leading to a breakdown in the social contract that these countries were built upon. Paraguay has observed these global trends and has made a conscious decision to move in a different direction. There are reports of increasing disregard for historical and religious landmarks in Western Europe. Paraguay, being a deeply traditional and predominantly Christian nation, views the protection of its cultural heritage as a matter of national security. They are looking for residents who will respect and uphold these local traditions, rather than those who might harbor an antipathy towards them. This is why the vetting process for sensitive countries is so rigorous. And this extends to the safety of public spaces. In some parts of the world, public safety and even basic civil hygiene have unfortunately regressed. Paraguay's migration policy is designed to ensure that the peace that we enjoy here isn't compromised by importing the social volatility or the lack of public order seen in more unstable regions. It's about cultural compatibility. If an applicant comes from an environment where those local norms, whether they involve public safety, sanitation, or respect for the law, are fundamentally at odds with the Paraguayan way of life, they are statistically less likely to integrate. Paraguay isn't asking for people to change. It's simply choosing to admit those who already align with the peaceful, traditional society that exists here today. Anyway, I think I've rambled on enough. I didn't mean to hurt anyone's feelings here. If you, if you happen to be coming from a sensitive country, but you need to understand what the basis of the policy here is and why it is that applicants from sensitive countries are so scrutinized and why it's so difficult. And I forgot to mention, I checked figures in the Ministry of Foreign Relations archives, and I found figures for 2023. And to give you an idea of what the status is with sensitive countries, in 2023 there were something like 26,500 residencies granted for Paraguay. The vast majority coming from Brazil, Argentina, Germany, Spain, and a couple of other countries I don't remember off the top of my head. But anyway, out of that 26,500, I found two different figures because this is a third world country, so accuracy in bureaucratic data is a little bit lacking. But basically, less than 500 of those came from sensitive countries. And although the countries were not listed individually, what was mentioned in parentheses was that a large number from China, and Egypt. So anyway, take that as you will. But anyway, hope that wraps it up. Hope I made things a little bit clearer. So adios, amigos.